I am Dungeon Master, your guide in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I am the Dungeon Master, and this is Dragons of War. Today, we are doing a special side quest episode where Pesci, Gorakul, and Scout are going to be off on their own, and that will become clear in a moment after I finish this recap what is going on. So the party had um, gone from the town where they had defended Brotniabad from the orcs and goblins and had taken out the rear attacking forces with the orc warlord and the goblin archers. And in this battle, they found not only plans on the orcish leaders, thanks to Pesci, but also saw the town burning and decided that their best option was to head to the other towns and try to save them because they assumed that this town was lost. Now, Scout was out scouting, and when he arrived at this town, you already know what you found. because we discussed this outside of the game.
Yes,
So,
sir.
so I'm not going to cover that right now. I'm going to let you handle that as a role play thing. But now we're going to uh, jump to you guys being out on the road with the guy who led you to his cabin, and Scout finally catches back up with you guys, but Pesci, you have been in a mood ever since reading your letter, which informed you that your friend, former lover, has been called into active like combat role duty, not so much as a warrior but as a spy in a area that is extremely dangerous. He is not expected to return and will be leaving likely, in the next few weeks. He has a limited amount of time to get his things together. He has asked that you ensure um, the safety of your guys' third friend. Just some NPC, no love triangle or anything like that. Just a very very close friend. If you're familiar with like comic books at all, you can kind of think about it like Wolverine, Sabretooth, and Mystique, where they all kind of worked for the various government spy organizations together in different time periods and all of that. And so there's sort of like a mutual brotherhood, even though for them, because they're comic books, they end up fighting a lot. You guys don't fight so much as everybody has disagreements and whatnot, but you still have that mutual respect and camaraderie. This old friend, mutual friend of your guys is, I don't mean to say old as in they're old, I mean to say old as in you've known them for a while, actually was injured badly, and they now have a permanent limp that has slowed them. It's your call whether this is another small folk type of race, halfling, gnome, perhaps even dwarf, or if this is, a more standard humanoid. But either way, this third companion now has been hobbled and slowed, and a spy who can't get away quickly is basically a sitting duck. And so they have been forced to live with your ex and get taken care of because he's been able to stay semi-permanent in this area as the person who is kind of like the quest giver. And now he's been called up into active duty and will no longer be around to take care of the third party. So you've been really just not, sure what to do. and so nobody liked your depressing wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald songs that you've been singing lately, and they kind of kicked you out of camp. so to speak. Not like you're not well, but just, like, hey, you know what would be great is if you went and practiced that violin anywhere else. And so, Gorakul, you have been doing experiments with the thing, the little slime that you recovered from the star meteorite way back, you know, sessions ago
Yeah.
now. And so you were doing that when a piece of it kind of like exploded like one of those uh, marshmallows or black snake fireworks, like when you apply heat and it just expands. And so you ruined an entire tent and gear and everything with doing your experiments. And so it was basically decided that you and Pesci should go just over there and do your experiments over there. And Pesci can sing you all his sad songs while you do it.
And Gorakul just sort of focused on his work, just sort of begrudgingly does that, and sort of sets up an area where he can further experiment with the piece of the with the s- with the star spawn
Yeah, and you're given another tent because nobody wants to you know see you sit out in the cold and rain, or yeah, I mean it's not raining, but whatever. And so you're given another tent, but you're told, like, this is the last backup tent we have, so don't ruin this one.
Understood. And he's making extremely certain to keep the keep the status of this tent in order, and
Yeah,
sort of like creating multiple barriers to prevent further sliming.
absolutely. Pesci. Now I know that I took a little liberty there with saying that you were playing the sad songs and all of that, but now that you've heard what it is and the general expected reaction, like, why don't you tell us exactly what he does?
Or as far as the songs are concerned.
Well, just in general, because like maybe it's not sad songs. Maybe you have a different idea of what Pesci's doing that kind of grated on everybody. I was just giving you like kind of the general cliff notes for you to be able to like take that and really make it your own here. Like the great actor Pesci.
So in my imagination, Pesci, when the group saw him distraught, uh, his his response was somewhere along the lines of being absolutely horrified that his former uh, close companion was, and he gagged on the word, a critic, who did not appreciate any of his acting or plays, and he specifically said he played the role of a genuine lover to a T, and still was not appreciated, which is why he moved on. And this entire time, he's just been singing songs about how critics are horrible and don't understand art, and uh, going through every single play, including every single play that he's actually done, which has gotten bad comments from people, and reenacting them for the group, and then explaining why that it was high art.
Yeah, and after about a day and a half, to 2 days of just non-stop of this, they finally were like, "Oh yeah, no, Pesci, we get it, but what would really, be good for your acting career would be to go do those soliloquies, in a mirror, uh, alone over there."
It sort of like it just feels on the nose and just very, very grating.
It's not even his performances, which are, like you said, varying degrees of bad writing because of the plays that you're in and all of that. But the actor makes the part, and you do fine. You're very talented, but it's then afterwards having to explain to them all of the nuances that you brought to the character and the choices that you made, and how anyone who didn't understand how like perfect that performance was is clearly just like an unsophisticated slob who has no culture or class whatsoever. And like they kind of fall into that category to a degree. So like you're insulting them to a certain extent, without even realizing it. And they just, they've had enough.
Yeah, obviously, my superior acting abilities of portraying all the individual characters from the great works of 50 Shades of Unseen Servant is not going appreciated by anybody.
Yeah.
Nobody is nobody is clapping.
Of course, because they don't appreciate it.
Exactly.
Obviously.
I like to imagine that, perhaps Ryun like gave you like a little bit of courtesy at first being a paladin, and then like even after a while he was just like, "Uh-huh, yep, mm-hmm." So, you guys are out doing your thing. Gorakul, I want you to go ahead and roll your astronomy general check just to, see what you've learned about the star and the star spawn and the, overall.
Nat 20.
So that hovered on the 2 for a second there. You are studying the star, and as you're holding it close to the star spawn, you notice that it's getting a major reaction. The star spawn is like jiggling and moving and doing stuff like that. You think it might be alive and reacting to the power of the star, and
And all that stuff. And
you
Gorakul's sort of like pulling these like spectacles up to his face to better observe this, and sort of like thinks and realizes that's happening and thinks to himself, could that be this be the reason why those things were in the crystal in the first place?
well, you
Is it
also realize while doing this that the star spawn uh, is trying to move towards the crystal, and the crystal, the closer the star spawn like is to it, glows brighter.
interesting reaction? And he sort of like pulls out a little like leather booklet and sort of draws this sort of like chart of like this of the star spawn sort of reacting while also making sure to not have it too close as to avoid any sort of incident.
Yes. And so while all of this is going on, Pesci, roll for perception. Since he's not trying to conceal himself from the party, you notice Scout approaching.
Right, can you hear me? Okay. Scout, it's been so long since we have seen you. Please come, join me as I am reinterpreting my great work, Mordenkainen's Unseen Hand.
Yes. I'll come and sit down and watch this.
As Pesci goes through and starts mimicking out the great wizard Mordenkainen and his discovery of his hand.
I like to imagine it's a little bit like Jambi from Pee-wee's Playhouse, where you have a black suit on and you put on a black screen and you have this like glowing hand, and yeah, it's just a very interesting play. We'll leave it at that.
It is certainly that.
Scout pulls up, goes over there, sits down, and just starts into his sentry's rest. So he's watching.
Well, I think
Pesci doesn't realize he's sleeping.
I think that you might not want to sleep for 100 years. You know, maybe like a week at most. You know, fortnight's rest maybe might be better.
He's just, holding tight. He has no expression because of his face as it is, so he's just watching his play to make Pesci feel good.
Roll an insight, Pesci. It's going to be a hard difficulty class, so we'll make it 20 to try and notice. Oh
wow! How do we not get these rolls in battle, but yet we can do it now?
So
because these rolls don't matter, that's why.
So there's an interactive part of the play, and when you go to get the reaction from Scout, he's just a little bit delayed, because obviously, Scout, during your sentry's rest you're able to still see everything. And it just takes you a moment to react. You're not springing into action as if you were not resting. And so when he goes to do this interactive part, which we're not going to describe, your reaction clues him into the fact that you were dozing off a little there.
I just imagine it being like in Futurama, where Bender gets his mind wiped. I am Bender, insert girder. It's I am Scout.
Yeah.
Insert target.
I am Scout, initiate stealth mode.
Yes. Scout!
Take that, you stupid.
Sorry, I am not used to a lot of your humanoid interactions. My apologies.
Yes. Well, it's a good thing you have me here, and I can show you in the arts of this other play that he knows how to interact with humans.
Oh, he just launches right
please.
into it. Yeah, he just starts a whole nother play to teach you like the intricacies of this. It is an actually 3-part play. Like it's a trilogy. So there's basically like 6 to 8 hours of this.
And the play's title is Twilight.
Oh, this is going to be a long one.
Each one covers like different aspects of, everything from how to, be polite in formal society to like relationships and like parenting, like everything. It goes into so many different like topics, and it just keeps going. And each thing, it's almost like one of those Hell House things where they like show you Goofus and Galant. That's a great explanation for like how it goes. It's like, here's how not to do it, and then this is how you do it, and it just keeps going. It's so condescending and patronizing, and just keeps going.
And Gorakul just sort of like sticks his head out of the tent and says, "What sort of play are you doing now?" And he's just sort of holding the crystal in his hand, and the tube with the star spawn slime in the other.
Pesci, he wants to know what play you're doing.
This is the first in a 3-part series of human interactions between lycanthropes and vampires and humans. It is called the Twilight Saga. Please, join me.
He insists.
Gorakul's going to do an inside check to see if he's like doing this out of spite or it's something else.
Oh, he's totally in his own world.
You are convinced that Pesci is so depressed that if you don't go listen to him, that he's just gonna become withdrawn and sullen and useless in combat and everything else.
More useless than normal in combat.
Hey, the pantsless rocket gnome was an amazing thing.
Yes, it was. And Gorakul is this sort of size, like, while still, like, stashing away the crystal in one of his pockets, and the slime in the other pocket, and sits down with his cloak sort of blanketing him. He looks like a chihuahua.
Scout turns to look at Garakul and goes, "Is that a slime in your pocket, or are you happy to see me?"
I've recently called it a star spawn. Thank you very much.
Yeah, how dare you not know the words he just made up for it?
That doesn't make it sound any better. But okay.
Yeah, upon hearing the word star spawn, like, all of you, look at it and look at Gorakul, and you just you get a chill that just runs up and down your spine.
What? It was spawned from the meteor, and in that case it is a star, and thus star spawn.
Wouldn't that make it a meteor spawn?
The meteors are stars.
No, they're not.
Doesn't anyone understand that?
They are not stars. Stars are something different entirely.
Yes, that's just...
although Gorakul could believe that, although I thought as an astronomer he might have a little bit.
Yeah, this is a medieval...
True.
This is a
true
different time, so misconceptions and all that.
Yeah, that's fair. So Gorakul firmly believes that meteors are stars that have burned up most of their material and now, collide with Tenkan Earth.
Yes.
Just out of Scout's amusement, while Pesci is doing his act, he's going to do several molders to create a rock and mud audience for Pesci.
Nice. Pesci.
See, there are more people that have joined us.
Yeah, you look
Good.
out.
This is amazing.
It actually does make you feel like, like you're on stage. In fact, if you want, you can use Mold Earth to kind of create a little half-ass stage too. It doesn't have to be like the whole curtains and everything, but just a little raised platform,
Full
A
soapbox.
raised rock platform with the edging around the edge of the stage for him.
Yeah. So now, like, if you didn't, pay attention to the background per se, you could totally convince yourself that you were on stage, maybe not at the grand opera and theater houses that you've dreamed of performing at, but at some of the more local ones that you've actually performed at. So this has earned Gorakul, you get a point of inspiration for knowing to keep the stone and the spawn separate. And Scout,
Yes.
you get a second point of inspiration for helping Pesci out. And Pesci, although it's not like a huge thing, you also get a point of inspiration for coming up with two different plays that you were going to use. So now I have handed out some perspiration, gotten you guys all sweaty. That's an important thing. And
That sounds disgusting.
well, you gotta get the cardio up, the heart rate up, before you do actual, physical work, which is what I'm about to get to. So, you guys are sitting through Pesci's play when Gorakul rolls for perception. Gorakul, you do not notice at first, but suddenly your pocket is very, very warm. I mean, like crazy hot. Like it's burning your scales. It feels like your pocket is on fire.
Gorakul sort of looks to his pocket and sort of notices this and sort of tries to pull out what exactly is causing this burning sensation.
It's the vial of the star spawn and it burns your hand as you grab it.
And Gorakul sort of drops it and sort of observes as it's sort of like blazing.
Yeah, well, it's not blazing in like a physical sense that you can see. There's no visual indicator, but like when you touched it burned you as if it was red hot.
Yes, that's just a sort of metaphor.
Yeah.
Not literally.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that the visual was there for you, just to make sure. But yeah, exactly. It is blazing hot. And luckily you're a dragonborn, so like scales don't blister or anything. But
this is even hot for a gold dragon,
yes,
for a bronze
yes,
dragon spawn.
you have
Scout
fire
leans into Gorakul and goes, "Shh, we're watching a play."
Well, pardon me, if the vial with the star spawn just decided to go ablaze with heat. No, nonetheless.
So you lose 1 point to the fire damage, 1 hit point, just to indicate that it burned you so bad that you took damage. And as you drop it, it shatters on the rock that Pesci has formed to make little seats and everything, or not Pesci, I'm sorry, Scout. And so as Scout, turns to you to be like, hey, Don't be rude. You know, uh, you look and you see the slime start to grow rapidly, just like before when Gorakul was doing his testing and exploded all over the tent, and so now um, you know
Oracle sort of sees this and sort of freaks out and says, "Everyone, get behind something!"
yeah, and you say this, and as you do so, uh, the
Deck save.
uh, no, just initiative. But as you say this, the rest of everybody who may or may not have noticed now notices exactly what's going on. So you guys are all aware of this. Nobody is caught unawares. So whatever you roll for initiative is what you roll, and you will be capable of acting in that order, fully aware of the black pudding that grows and grows and tries to consume you guys.
I am unaware.
What is this?
It seems to me that the star spawn has decided to rapidly heat to a blistering temperature and is started to escape from its capsule. Oh dear.
And right as Gorakul is saying that, the black pudding rears up and tries to attack him. But Pesci, your quick quickness quickly quickens your actions.
Okay. Because at this point of the play, where Pesci was using his quarterstaff to mimic fighting, so it's good timing that this creature came out in the middle of his fighting. Do I recognize this thing at all? This looks like the slime that we dealt with previously.
It looks like a black version of the slime that you dealt with previously, but grown to much bigger sizes and reacting much more animated than simply like sludging towards you.
Oh, great. If I remember correctly from the previous encounter, these things were not really intelligent. So I don't know if Vicious Mockery is going to be... Well, okay, let's give it a try. Pesci forms a string of insults in many languages which nobody has ever heard before in this vicinity, and kind of is angry at the Black Pudding from interrupting the grand finale of part one of the 3-part play.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, don't forget to change your dice color. Oh, that's because I was rolling because it was the DC. Gotcha. Aha.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you that as you cast this on it, you realize that this thing is not immune to your psychic damage, but is resistant, quote unquote. So you're not sure that psychic damage is exactly what you should be using. However, it's not immune. So
Well, the purpose of the spell is not to do psychic damage. The purpose is to give it
Ah.
disadvantage on its attack.
Yes. Which
Okay.
which would still work. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at this point, Pesci then goes and steps back a bit and switches over to his short bow and gets behind a little bit of cover.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I believe that will be his turn.
Oh yeah, you can go around it. It's like, oh no, you're stepping through the fire, but yeah, you just walk the square around it. You're good.
Yeah. Maybe we can taunt it into the fire.
Ooh.
Goracle is not eager to have it be burnt. At this point, he's trying to recontain it.
Gorakul, you are struck by one of the pseudopods that lashes out. The acid burns your scales. As it does so, you are coated in the black pudding so much so that you go into system shock and drop unconscious.
And before Goracle goes unconscious, he sort of gasps out and says, "Contain it! Don't destroy it!"
Scout is unprepared for this, obviously. So he's gonna back off 10 feet and draw his rapier and short sword.
All right. Do you disengage?
I'm definitely disengaging. That took me by surprise.
Yeah.
So sorry, let's do that officially, right? There it goes. Did it put it as disengage? Double click. There we go.
There you go. Yep.
Do it officially. There we go.
Thank you, sir. I didn't want to have to drop you with a you know.
With a pack of opportunity.
Yeah, it's a cheap way to get a win, you know. Like I want to present a challenge and all of that. I just don't want to TPK you guys like just because you didn't declare disengage, and I'm like, aha, gotcha.
Oh, you definitely got us on this one. Are you back, Sam?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so it looks like our cool got dropped in an attack.
Yes, but he's just knocked unconscious, so.
Okay. Oh, shoot. Huh. Maybe I can sleep it? Since it's only a single creature, I could potentially sleep it if I cast it at a higher level. Let's see, 78 worth of hit dice. That would probably be around 30-ish HP.
This creature looks big.
Yeah. So
Best
Pesci,
to first diminish it before you go casting sleep on it.
yeah. Yeah. Oof, I don't like this. Let's see. What can I? Okay. So Garcool. How many second spell levels do I have? Where are my spell slots? Okay, I have 2 second level spell slots. Garcool. So I'm going to use my bonus action to use Healing Word on Garcool at level 1. He says, Garcool, you were there for the part in the play where Melody gets attacked by a slime. You should be down. This is the same thing. As he heals you 3 hit points.
Wakes up thinking to himself, that sounds very kinky.
And then I guess Pesci will lace in another string of insults to the Black Pudding for interrupting his grand play finale to try to get its attention.
You uncultured amoeba?
Yes.
Okay, so don't roll the damage.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Oh wait, I already added it. Oh, never mind. You're good.
Okay, cool. Because the key part was not the damage, but
Yep.
disadvantage.
I just wanted to make sure that I gave it resistance. Normal black puddings do not resist psychic damage, but yeah, they do.
Okay. At this point, Pesci takes another 5-foot step back. I know he stays near the fire. He stays near the fire, and I will end my turn.
Alrighty. The black pudding is going to boop boop boo dee doo. I mean, you're the only one who's done anything to me, so I'm sorry, Goraku or Pesci.
But he has to deal with the fire that's in between us.
Yes, the fire is in between you, and I would give myself disadvantage, but you already did. Ooh. So, that is a miss, and therefore I missed. When I get pissed, you get missed.
Okay. So Pesci's within 5 feet of it now.
Yes.
Scout is going to come up on its proverbial flank. There's a slime after all.
I am immune to flanking. So you will not benefit from the flanking rules as far as advantage goes. You will, however, get all the rest of the normal benefits that only require an ally to be within 5 feet.
Yes, that's where I'm aiming for, is the sneak attacks.
I figured, but I just wanted to make it clear that you won't actually be getting advantage because I'm an evil DM.
Well, yes, that's beside the point. Hold on. We need to add this effect.
Yep. You stab into the black pudding, your rapier dealing piercing damage that is one of the few damage types that the black pudding is not immune to.
And then I'm going to follow up with my bonus, which is unfortunate for me for disengaging. For an additional
Oh no, you can only deal the sneak attack once per.
Yes, sorry, once.
Yeah,
So
I'll just take 3 off. It's
3 off.
Yep. No worries. But you stab it again. Your magical short sword glints and gleams in the sunlight as it stabs it. It kind of gives it that. Oh, what the hell's the name of that gum? You know, where they smile and it ting. Yeah. So you stab into it, and the sword just gives you that glint, and you can tell that the magic of the short sword is working. Gorakul, you are conscious. You look up as you open your eyes to see the black pudding lashing out at Pesci as Scout stabs into it. You are prone on the ground. What do you do?
Well, first off, I stand up from prone
Mm-hmm.
and use my bonus action to turn into my starry form chalice and think to myself, I'm going to need a bigger jar.
As you guys watch, Gorakul erupts in a burst of stars that spin out from around him, forming what looks like a sparkling goblet chalice of some sort.
That trying to cast some bless on Pesci.
Bless the gnomes on your turn.
And Gorakul says, be blessed by the starlight and contain this black pudding.
Yeah, put it in the fridge for later.
I look and see where the effect of oh, I see it.
Oh,
I'll look
don't
at the
worry.
spell as
I
well.
plan on containing it, alright?
Consider yourself contained, creep.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Okay, so the issue with Bless is that it doesn't look like it would appear to stack with my Vicious Mockery.
Correct.
Yeah. So. Eesh. All right. So he's 5 feet away from me, right?
Well, I mean, yes, but this is an active combat, so no.
Yeah. Well, it's trying to get to me around the fire, and I'm just
Right.
trying to keep the fire between us as best I can. Can
If-
I
if-
shoot an arrow through the fire and catch the arrow on fire and hit it with a fire arrow? Can I
Well-
pull a link?
Well, I mean, you know, if you think about it logically, there's no way for the arrow to spend enough time in the fire unless it already had something flammable, like extremely flammable, wrapped around it. Like an oil-soaked rag or,
Yeah.
or something like that. Now, what I will allow for is for you to make an intelligence roll, difficulty class 17. If you roll above that, you can have some made arrows that are ready to be made into fire arrows. But I'm going to let you know right now, like, you're going to want to keep those separate, because if you get attacked with a fire attack, then any pre-soaked kerosene pitch.
Oh yeah, no, I totally would have to keep it in like a water skin or something.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying is, you're opening yourself up to some stuff there. So I'm totally okay with you having some pre-made ones, but then that means that you're walking around with like flammable stuff on you, and I will like definitely remember that in the future when you're fighting, Magmen or something.
Okay. Well, if he had them, he would definitely keep them in like a water skin or something to keep them away as best he can from that. And he would only have a limited number. But can I use inspiration on this? Because this sounds like something I would be useful for inspiration.
So I'm going to give you a little bit longer of an answer than what is absolutely necessary. But I want you guys to know this. You can use inspiration on just about anything in my games. There is very, very little that I will not allow you to spend a point of inspiration on. I've even made special case rulings of like allowing you to use inspiration on something that isn't even necessarily a roll. So, it's really just a case of letting me know that you want to use your inspiration, and then we'll figure out a way to make it work.
Okay. Well, if here's a counter question. Would it be easier to just grab one of these things in the fire, like a torch, not a torch, one of these logs in the fire, and use it to swing at this thing? Would that be easier to do?
Then lighting a arrow on fire, like again, not if you have it prepared. If you have it pre-prepared, then that would be just a quick little free action. You get one interaction with an item per round for free. So, you'd be able to just do that. You could also just grab a log and start beating him. But I don't know that that's easier per se, if you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, can I use the inspiration to see if Pesci was smart enough to actually do this ahead of time?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I'm going to use inspiration. I'll give myself advantage. I'll roll the intelligence. And the answer is no.
Man, that was two low rolls. No, sorry.
All right. Now then the question becomes, can he use the fire stick? Well, okay, so he's already gonna basically he's staying behind the fire to ensure this thing has as much difficulty as possible to hit him next turn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to make sure that's clear.
In fact, you can kind of dance back and forth over the fire there to represent that you're moving around the fire as much as possible. It's really the same difference either way, unless you choose to disengage and move away. So just go ahead and move one square over by the fire to represent that you're dancing around the fire.
This is his live performance, DM.
Yeah.
It is. It's his live performance of Defeat the Fire Dancer.
Yes.
Very famous in some circles. As Pesci is describing how this acrobat will march and dance in open flames, and then he will, as he's dancing around, will shoot his arrow at the black pudding.
Okay, now you do have disadvantage on this because you're, in his threatening range.
Okay. In that case, can I grab? I didn't realize I had that. Can I grab as I'm doing this and moving between? Can I see some lumber that I can use as a club that's on fire?
Yep, and that is what I am adding to your sheet now.
Cool. Then Pesci will.
One second. I gotta change the damage because it's gotta get a little bit of fire damage added. Okay.
Okay. Pesci will roll his attack. Hey! And then damage.
Damage.
Bless doesn't give. Yeah, it should add 1d4 damage, shouldn't it? Oh no, that's
No.
save. Never mind.
Yeah.
It's just attacking that. Okay,
Yep.
cool. How is it? Oh, because my strength is -1. So it does
No,
1 fire damage.
It's also immune to well, yeah.
Bludgeoning.
You did deal 0 bludgeoning as well, but it's also immune to bludgeoning. So
Okay.
either way. Oh wait, no, it's not. It's not immune to bludgeoning. Never mind. You would have done damage, but you're weak. So
Yeah.
weak. Powerful
I'm
weak.
Yep. But I did 1 damage of fire to it.
That's right.
And does it look like it caught fire or anything?
It did not catch fire, but the fire did like crisp a piece of it, which like fell off.
Ooh, fun. Alright, I end my turn.
Oh wait, I have to roll this again because I have disadvantage. No,
Oof.
19! But I only get the 12, but it's still enough for hit.
Oof.
Pesci, I'm sorry.
Which is weird because I did more damage to it. It should be angry at me now.
It was until Pesci burned it. Okay, so you cannot take any reactions, Pesci, as the pudding's acid like burns you and hurts you, and you have disadvantage on any attacks or checks that you make for the next round. Also, Gorakul and Pesci, you watch like in not horror, but like you watch your leather armor melt partially. It has a permanent -1 penalty.
I think I only have cloth. I don't think I'm wearing leather. Let me double check.
It says you're wearing leather, so I'm gonna go ahead and apply a -1 to it. But either way,
Let me double check. Oh, I am. So I am.
you have 1 hit point left.
Question.
Yeah.
Question: This black pudding, is this considered a 5-foot cube?
It is considered a 10-foot cube.
I was about to try and contain it, but never mind. I will do what he's supposed to do and attack it.
You attack it.
Is Pesci still up?
Yes.
I am still alive. Yes.
Well, I know you're still alive. I'm hoping you're still up.
I am still up.
Yep. Johnny 5 is alive.
Because DM knows exactly why I'm asking that.
Oh yeah.
Pesci is saying, the fire, it does nothing.
Oh, nice. Beautiful.
The pudding is heavily damaged as Scout stabs into it again and again, hacking away with his short sword and rapier. It just, yeah. I'm just going to be over here practicing my stabbing. Yeah!
Because it never works out in a real fight.
Gorakul. Scout knows. Oh, I'm sorry. Scout knows the #1 rule of sword fighting: stick 'em with the pointy end.
Oracle, sort of seeing Pesci sort of very injured, decides to sort of walk over here and try and heal him.
You remember you're very injured too, right?
Yes, that's why I turned into my chalice form. And
Ah.
that's what I forgot last time. I already cast the spell once, so I get one of these.
Yep.
And using my clerical abilities, I heal him with the powers of the stars.
I like to imagine you hear the Legend of Zelda music as the stars fall down on you, and then you get healed by the 5 hit points that the stars heal you for.
Oracle says, well, either we're going to need a large jar of glass, as Gorakul sort of specifies to note that this thing isn't able to burn through glass, or we're going to need to find a giant stone pot of some sorts. As Gorakul sort of just tells this to Pesci.
Look, if we build a giant wooden badger,
It has to be a honey one.
All right. So how much damage has been dealt to this thing so far?
a lot.
Oh, yeah. So we did 21, 30,
It's ready to do a permanent sleep.
50-ish damage.
54 damage.
54 damage. And it looks like it's heavily wounded at this point, right?
Which means about half. Correct.
Okay. Does Pesci feel confident that he can magic this thing to sleep?
Roll a wisdom. Check.
You get my character sheet up.
By the way, to pull your character sheet up, you can double click your token or on the combat tracker.
Yep.
Just a quick little FYI for everybody there. Alrighty. So, you would reasonably guess that it would be extremely unlikely that you would roll high enough, because what did you say you get? 7d8?
Yeah.
Okay, so 7d8 is 56 maximum. So that's a maximum roll. So if he took about 54 and he's at about half, you would need to roll almost maximum in order to pull that off.
Okay.
Of course,
right.
that's a very meta explanation, but to put it in game terms, you would assume that a creature this big, if you can put it to sleep at all, is going to need to be, injured to the point where it looks like it's no longer, ready to go. Whereas right now, the heavily injured, although definitely indicative of, total amount of damage done, it's really not in too much danger of like being knocked out anytime soon. Like, you guys would have to do at least 2 or 3 more big hits to it to get it to that point. So maybe if Scout were to stab it one more time and get it down to, about a quarter of its health, that would be where,
That's what I was thinking before, but I was very unsure. Okay. So how about this? I want to make a distraction. Pesci is going to kind of step a little bit further behind the fire to kind of try to keep the heat and the flames between him and the black pudding. And he's going to create a double of himself with a minor illusion. which is, yeah. So he's going to create like a double of them. Can I do that with a minor illusion? Create an image of an object such as a chair, muddy footprints, or a small chest, but it must be no larger than 5-foot cube. So basically, it can't move, but I can create an image of myself.
Right. Oh, Pesci, level up.
Oh, I can level up?
Yeah.
Can I do that right now?
Yeah, we're doing that right now.
We're doing that right now.
I'm helping you with this.
I will gladly pause for you to level up and get better stuff.
I like didn't realize that you hadn't leveled up
Yeah,
yet.
that would be helpful.
Okay,
And, like,
so the only thing I need to know is feats. Do you want a feat or an ability score improvement?
I'm probably gonna go with an ability score improvement for this level.
Which 2 or 1 do you want?
So either
Feet are good because then you can run.
Well, yeah. So here are the two options I was going to go with. Either I was going to go with the actor feat so that I can get 1 additional ability score into charisma to boost my DC, or I was going to get 2 ability score and just dump it into charisma. So either I was going to do acting this turn or the next time I have this option.
Do it this turn. You still get the +1 to the charisma, and then the next time you do it, you can do the 2 points into charisma and get it that way. So yeah.
Okay, let's do that because he's big into acting anyway. It makes sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. So let me go ahead and find where this. There it is. Boom, chosen, and save. Rolls your hit point. Could have been better, but oh well. So yeah, there you go.
Okay. Cool. I don't think I get any spells or anything this level. Let's see.
You should.
Do I?
Yeah, you should. But you can do that on your own.
Yeah. Okay. I still have a spell slot used. Okay.
Disintegrate works amazing.
I don't think bards can learn disintegrate.
Summon Beholder. That would be helpful too.
Oh, shapeshift beholder. Gotcha. I'll put that in next time. All right, so I still want to do a distraction, a minor illusion of myself in my space as I hide a little bit better behind not hide because hide is an action, but move myself behind the fire.
Sure.
So that it's the fire. There's more fire between us rather than open space. As Pesci uses his acting ability to throw his voice where his illusion is.
Don't forget to use your bless.
That would be a save or an attack. I'm using it's an action to cast minor illusion.
Okay.
Is there anything you want me to roll or anything, DM?
No, you just cast minor illusion, but then you have to roll your stealth.
Okay. I'll roll my stealth.
And I'll allow you, if you want, to spend a point of inspiration on that so that you get advantage since you're using the illusion.
Okay. I will use the point of inspiration, give myself advantage.
So don't even take it off because for using the illusion and then choosing to apply your advantage to that, I'm giving you a point of inspiration.
Oh.
So it's a self, it pays for itself.
Awesome. Thank you. It could also technically be a deception too because I'm tricking it. Okay. And that is my turn.
Sorry, I had to run to the little dungeon master's room real quick there, but yes, no, exactly. You are tricking it, but it's the stealth roll that matters, and you did really good. So the black pudding now has to try to perceive you. So let's find out. Oh, sorry. I have blind sight. So I just pretty much automatically know that you're there and that the illusion isn't an illusion. But if it makes you feel any better, Scout has done a lot of damage to me, so I'm mad at him now.
It does make me feel better. Thanks.
Really appreciate a bugbear to come and help her out now. Of course, he probably ran out of the cave. Oof. I remember
Right.
Scout has no idea.
Yeah. So you cannot take reactions right now. The slime and acid burns you. Luckily, you do not have any armor for it to destroy. Unluckily, that means that your very warforged skin is just straight burning, and so I am going to rule that instead of applying the -1 to your armor class and all of that, instead you're going to get -1 to checks for each hit for now. So any ability check you make right now will be done at -1 due to the acid burning you.
Oh, I get that. I was trying to look up the Warforged resilience. Wrong thing. Where's the armor for this guy? Because it is part of his body, so I get that. I was just wondering if we could do something like having to integrated protection, having to redo my armor again.
Oh yeah, you just gotta like get somewhere and like repair yourself a little. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
This is not a permanent thing. This is just for right
I get
now, to indicate that the acid has, done something. Because, like, depending on what armor you have yourself set at, like, I don't want to burn you away until you're, like, nothing left, so.
Oh, that's why I was looking at it. So right now, the Darkwood Core, my armor class is supposed to be 11 plus my dex modifier. So technically, we could drop it down to the 10 if you wanted to.
Okay.
Because, I mean, that's what it's at now. So obviously,
that is what it's at right now. I have
for some reason my additional 1 was not added in. So. Okay, well, whichever you like to do, DM, I'm good with.
We'll go with the armor. It's fine. I just set it correctly for that, and I'll take your disadvantage on checks off.
Not like I'm going to use checks. I'm going to attack it.
No, I know the armor's actually worse. That's why I'm allowing for it. But
So against one creature within 5 feet on a hit. Let's attack normal effects. Nope, that isn't going to be helpful here. Okay. Yeah, he's just going to attack. Oh, so close to that 20.
it teased you.
It did. I'm a little shocked that it still hit.
This thing does not have good armor class.
I'm okay with this. Okay. And then with my offhand, I swing the short sword.
You can't miss.
But then, oh, I didn't miss. But I didn't do a whole lot of damage on my second one.
This is
My offense a little weaker. The acid threw me off. Was confused.
Yep.
I'm blaming it on the acid.
It is definitely the acid. You might have taken the brown acid.
That's why Scout's wearing the brown pants.
Alright, Goracool.
This guy gets it. He's wearing the brown pants.
Yeah.
Are you
So
going
Gor-
to stone your creature to death?
He's support. So he's going to healing word scout. Oops, sorry. Could you reverse that, DM?
Yep, 5 to you, not to him. Got it. Oh, you just take
It
your
was
3?
the
Okay, that's fine.
take my 3. Just remove the 5.
Yep, I got it. I was just
was
gonna.
5.
I was just gonna give you 5, but that's fine.
Heal. You go and you heal somebody and you get to heal yourself.
Yes, but that was the wrong dice.
Oh, the wrong dice? No, it was the right dice. It just went to the wrong person.
Also, I healed him for 4.
Yep.
He had a bit more health than just in the red.
If he healed for 4 plus 5, and then I reduce it by 5, then that's the right amount.
No, he was damaged by 5.
What?
It did 5
accidentally
damage to
used-
him, if you see the log on the chat on the left.
Oh!
That's weird.
Yeah. That's what I meant by doing the wrong dice.
This entire time, Garcool was actually a necromancer and was doing cause wounds instead of cure wounds.
Yeah, no, I see now. I'm so sorry, Hazard. I saw the starry form, and I was like, oh yeah, he's healing him. Nope, you're right. You damaged him. Got it.
Yeah. And after that, Goraku is going to use his action to see if he can think up of a way to, like, to contain this black pudding. So, nature check.
Okay. There is nothing in nature like this, and so therefore,
No, I wasn't using it to, like, for it to be on the slime itself, but the materials itself that could contain.
so without knowledge of this slime, you wouldn't have knowledge of what could contain it. And
But-
since there is nothing like this in nature, the difficulty class to do that is beyond your reach.
Oh, I'm so stupid, sorry.
What? No, that's not what Goracool is trying to study this black pudding. But it's like if you've never seen a sea urchin before, it's hard to tell exactly what it is. Is it a plant? Is it an animal? Is it some kind of underwater fungus? You know, you're just not sure what this thing is because there's nothing else like it in nature. That is not anything to do with you or even necessarily your character Goracool whatsoever. It's just the circumstances.
Understood.
Okay. All right. It's sleepy time. think it's sleepy time.
It's pretty close. Yeah, this is the time to go for it. It's
Alright,
not
I'm
it's
gonna
not guaranteed or nothing, but you know.
All right. Well, let's do it. I'm gonna angle sleep in such a way that will hit the black pudding, and not Scout.
Yep.
I am okay with it hitting myself if needed, with the expectation that Garcool or Scout will wake me up.
Okay, so sleep is a 20-foot radius, I believe.
Correct.
All right, let me just see what you can get rocking here in order to, make this as good as you can get it. Oof. Yeah. All right. That's definitely gonna get Goracool, and so you will be hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Sometimes it happens.
Stop
So
hitting
the-
Shoot,
yourself.
no.
The
I
problem I
actually
see with
have.
isn't your spell supposed to be you take that and whoever has the most hit points gets the first one?
Yeah. No, it's the least. So yeah, it will hit me and then it will hit it. And I still have a decent number of hit points.
So I would
Stab yourself in the stomach quick.
just recommend to maybe tell Scout to move somewhere.
You could hold your turn until after somebody's turn.
Can I?
You could hold to cast the spell until Scout moved out of the way.
Although that's
Yeah, I
that's,
could.
that's riskier.
That's risky. If I back off, it will try to attack me though, right?
Oh, for sure.
So, yeah. So I don't want to do that because it will hurt. Um. Shoot. Would a suggestion work?
I mean, again, they're not mindless per se, but they're
Yeah.
definitely not mindful.
Yeah, I don't think suggestion would work.
It might not. I don't want to, say with 100% certainty that it would.
Ooh, the grass is animated now.
Yeah, I
Cautious-
just noticed that as well.
I'm just
Cautious,
trying
hideous
something to see
laughter.
if the trees would look good with this, to see what would.
I don't think this creature is capable of humor.
Well, it obviously reacted to your very animated and amazing play style.
Yeah, but it's an intelligence thing. I don't know. I don't think this thing has a intelligence score higher than 4. 4 or higher.
It does
I
not.
suspect not. Yeah, I suspected not because it's previously the other slimes didn't, so I have no evidence for this. It didn't seem to have been affected by my minor illusion. So okay, DM,
Yes.
be aware that I do have cutting words. So subtract bardic inspiration dice from a roll after the roll, but before the result. Pesci is preparing to cast sleep after if Scout can get out of his way to cast sleep. But cutting words, I believe, is a reaction, and I have my reaction at this point.
Correct.
So I'm just letting you know before damage is resolved or anything that I want to be able to use it. I have 2 points above, and I indicate to Scout that I am ready to sleep him when he moves out of the way. I'm readying an action for that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my turn.
All right. So I have finished doing the trees. What do you guys think? Is that little bit of motion making the trees seem like they're blowing in the breeze a little there?
I literally had to stare at that a little bit to actually see the movement, but yeah, it's in there.
Yeah, I didn't want to like make it to where it's like Winnie the Pooh in the very blustery day here, you know.
Yeah, I can see that. And like
It's pretty neat.
nice wind.
Cool. Scout, do you have a backup character?
I was going to use cutting words.
Well, I do have, you know, we've had this discussion before. I have plenty of characters.
So, cutting words, yes. Minus what to what?
It's minus 1d6 to the attack roll.
Okay. What is your armor class, Scout?
It is 37.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure no matter what I roll, I still hit, right?
Yeah, I'm at 14.
Yeah. Here we go.
Well, the point was to reduce to not have it be a critical hit.
That doesn't work like that. It only subtracts from the totality of what was rolled. So like it doesn't actually reduce the d20 that you rolled by that number. It just reduces the total bonus, you know, applied to it.
Oof.
Hey, you didn't die instantly.
Oof.
But close enough.
Well, if he goes down, that means my reaction goes off.
Well, I did go down.
That he is as down gets.
I definitely am taking a nap. So you're not going to affect me in sleep now.
Yeah, you can go ahead and do the rest of your play.
All right, here is my damage roll.
The rest of the play. Nice.
Right?
All right, so does it have 29 HP?
Well, yes, it does, but not left. So it does indeed fall asleep.
The DM's version of suspense.
Yeah, right. You like how I do that? I'm sorry. You know, I'm a very semantic type of person, which is why somebody gave me the online moniker of Sim Antics.
That is
Okay.
some moniker.
Okay, I think that was roughly average for that for 78.
Yeah, it's a pretty average roll, and you
Yeah.
managed to time it out perfectly to where the black pudding was just damaged enough for your sleep spell to work. Like, I mean, literally, you were either dead on or like a point or two off, but I think it was exactly 29 hit points it had left. So,
Okay.
you guys, you know, watch as the black pudding just kind of drops down into a puddle, a pudding puddle, a poodle, and it is just like vibrating like slowly.
Okay. I will cast Healing Word on Scout to make sure he is alive.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the pudding.
Oh, no. Let me... Pesci walks over to Scout, targets him, and says, let me show you this example of person-to-person interaction. This is my concern of your well-being. As he... Oh, no, that's not temporary hit points. Sorry. This. As he casts Healing Word.
Oh, here, let me unlock your token movement too.
Now I can hear everybody again.
Yay!
I accidentally gave you 3 temporary hit points.
That's all right. I'll take them away.
But I heal you.
So you are no longer unconscious, Scout.
As Pesci is crying his eyes out and is just, you can see him trying desperately hard to make sure you're okay.
Scout puts his hand on his shoulder and goes, "That was a really good play. How did you get the pudding to animate?"
As Pesci, you see him like on a dime, stops his acting, turns to the black pudding, looks very confused, turns back and says, "That's not part of the play."
Indeed, it is not. Goraku sort of walks over and says, "It seems that my project with the star spawn has caused it to mutate in some way, and
Well,
as such,
that's kind of disappointing because that was actually a really good interactive play.
and in any case, Goraku sort of looks at the black pudding. Should probably make sure it's contained." And Goraku sort of thinks to himself a bit and says, "Well, we could either get a very large glass jug, or we could make some sort of container out of stone."
What about clay? Clay is generally non-reactive.
Is clay similar to, could clay work?
Well, here's the issue. So the black pudding is 10 feet of, you know, viscous liquid.
I don't know if we're going to be able to contain 10 feet worth of liquid in a container that we can reasonably carry. Can you get a sample of it?
Goraku then sort of pauses a bit and then and sort of thinks to himself, "Wait, better idea. Why not split it separately into separate containers?"
That does give you a little bit more, of viability than one huge container, but we're still talking about a massive amount of black pudding.
You don't need all of this. You just need a couple samples, right?
Well,
Hazard?
I need well, it's not just something that the whole. I think at this point it would be better to have a jar of it, but not all of it. Like a quarter. If that makes sense.
Do we have something that can
Just
contain it?
just to be clear, though, a quarter of it is still 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet of liquid, which is like several gallons. I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just giving you a very clear image of what you're trying to do so that you can understand the logistical, problems that you're facing.
At this point, Pesci stands up, brushes himself off, goes over to Garakul and says, well, your specimen's contained right now. Get a couple samples, and let's burn the rest.
All right. Goraku sort of looks to Scout and says, "Could you fashion a container, like a container of stone, Scout? I saw you do it with the audience," and he looks back at the audience. "Clay and stone. Maybe you could fashion a jar of that?"
So you want me to fashion a jar that's gonna hold a future monster that we're gonna have to fight again?
A present
No.
monster.
Now, it's not going to not going to harm anyone. This is for
It already has.
yes.
That's what you said last time when you took this thing. But whatever. Fine. he molds stone, mold earth, but he does the
Yeah.
stone version
Yeah.
to make a like a vase with a lid.
Of
And
course,
I-
Gorakul prefers to call it a vase since he's fancy, but as
He doesn't matter. It doesn't care either way.
And Scout makes sure he has his pinky finger out while he does it.
yeah, as you go to scoop up some of the black pudding, guess what the description of sleep says?
Anybody touching it anything that touches it wakes it. Anything that damages it wakes it.
Anything that damages it wakes it. Guess what taking a piece of black pudding does to black pudding?
Damages it.
Damages it. It takes 5 damage and wakes up.
Okay, now.
Everybody roll for initiative.
Okay, now. Time to get rid of it now.
That's exactly where the black pudding needs to be in the initiative order.
I know you're happy about that. It got really lucky the first time. It literally rolled a 20. Pesci, roll an ish.
And while you're rolling initiative, undo me as your target.
No, keep him as your target. You have advantage right now with Gorakul.
Good, guess I'll...
You there, Pesci?
Oh, sorry. I lost Bluetooth connection.
Please roll initiative as the black pudding attacks.
What? No.
Yes,
Pe-
Garricool
Pe-
taking
Pesci-
a piece of it damaged it, causing it to wake up, and here we are.
Pesci
Oh,
has
no.
figured out how to win every combat. If he never rolls initiative, it can't begin.
Hey, and if you'd be so kind as to untarget Scout so there's no friendly fire.
Well, I rolled 1, so Pesci really doesn't want to do anything.
Gorakul, what do you do? Gorakul, Hazard?
You're muted.
Since, well, considering now he has his sample and put the lid on, he decides it's time to burn away some excess.
Indeed.
Uses his fire breath.
I like to imagine that your fire breath comes out blue and white like the tail of a comet.
That sounds in character.
That'd be a cool visual.
Yes.
Alright, so you burn it a little. The chunks crisp and fall off, but it still, looks like it's ready to kick some butt.
And after that, he uses healing word once again.
Oh, yeah. Get a point of inspiration for keeping your party at, the most hit points that you possibly can.
Yes, I do. Now Gorakul is as healthy as he can be.
As healthy as a fox.
Oh, as much as Scout does not want to continue this fight because that hurt, he's got no choice.
Oh, you're currently at -3 to your AC. That's how badly melted your composite armor has, been.
Like I said, he's not happy about this.
Get him. Yeah.
That is the plan.
If you
Nice.
roll anything, yep. Scout is like, I'm sick of this mothering black pudding on this mothering plane of existence, and he just stabs it over and over again until it stops twitching.
Oh, he already took a nap. He's not happy about it waking back up.
And with that, the black
And he continues to
pudding threat,
stomp it afterwards, too.
yeah, the black pudding threat is truly eliminated, and you guys
And
are able to not only take your short rest, but so you can spend hit dice or whatever else. But Gorakul, you now have black pudding in a jar. So
or in other words, a black pudding cup.
yes, a black pudding cup. So now, Scout, Pesci, Gorakul, you guys have some time during this short rest for, whatever discussion or whatever you wish to have about this before Bright Roar and company come down to find out what's been going on down here.
Forget,
Well,
we also have Song of Rest.
Ooh, yes, you want to go ahead and roll your d6 and I'll add that to everybody?
I mold earth, the remaining corpse of this ooze, into its own grave.
and Gorakul, using the bits and pieces of earth he can find, sort of like creates a sort of seal for the black pudding cup to sort of like open it and close it without it escaping, and says, "Well, this is certainly going to be an interesting subject to study." And
Oh,
sort of to himself and sort of thinks himself. And Gorakul then sort of like thinks himself and says, "Would it be odd if I were to feed it like pieces of meat?" As Gorakul sort of looks to the others to
like that.
answer his question.
Gorakul wants to know if he should feed the monster that almost killed you guys.
No, I think it's fine if we let it starve to death.
I think you should totally stick your finger in there. See what happens.
Gorakul sort of thinks about this and says, "It's a living being." As
True scientists would also lick it.
It's also mindless. Well,
it's not really
bestial.
mindless as is, yes, but and Gorakul sort of like putting pieces together in his head, decides to do some feeding of the black pudding and use some of his meaty rations, put a piece of meat to feed the black pudding.
So glad I made this out of rock. So glad.
Do you
Yeah.
open the jar?
Please don't open the jar. As
This is
Pesci just whimpers.
This is the greatest thing
Please
ever.
don't open the jar.
A scout takes 10 feet step back.
It's not like he's going to open the jar. He's like creak it open to like give the black pudding some food.
Absolutely. I think this is a brilliant idea. Enjoy. Make sure you use your finger too.
So, opening the jar to give it food is still opening the jar. And
Yes,
so as you open the
I'm
jar,
going to do an animal handling check.
it's not an animal. As you open the jar, roll a dexterity check.
Going to use my inspiration to roll at advantage.
Yep. Okay. As you roll a dexterity check, the black pudding shoots out of the jar. You go to close it quickly, but it's too late. The black pudding is attacking you. Luckily, it is a very, very small black pudding.
Easy now. Gorakul sort of sees little black pudding and says,
Scout is on the ground laughing hysterically.
now,
I
now.
am proned out laughing. I just can't.
Now, Gorakul sort of standing there, sort of like talking a bit and says, okay, now, let's be reasonable here. And Gorakul sort of pulls out the bit of meat and says,
No, 19! Go ahead, gentlemen, roll for initiative. Again, fortunately, this is a small bit of black ooze, but it does act first and attacks Gorakul.
whoa!
Somewhere between his chuckles, he's like, Pesci, put it to sleep again.
It hits. I have to adjust the damage quick. Give me a second.
Also, wouldn't it be like a +3 or something? Shouldn't the attack roll plus be adjusted too?
Nope. Just the damage. Oh, what? Why would it roll that? It's supposed to roll a d4 plus 1d8. I just changed it. I guess it goes off of what's hard-coded on the sheet. Alright, let me just roll this and then d4, d8. Alright, 11 damage. So you are down to 8 hit points.
Yeah! Good. I'm not.
Gorakul.
So Gorakul, thinking to sort of say, I don't know if you know language, but Gorakul sort of holds out the piece of meat that he's holding. It's food? You like food? Yes? I'm not food. Yes.
Scout is dying. He's laughing even harder now.
I shall give you food. And Gorakul sort of motions to the jar. If you get into the jar, I shall feed you. All right? Gorakul's trying to reason with it.
Okay.
So, persuasion?
That'd be the only thing that you could possibly do, so yeah.
Oh. No, 19!
That's only if you roll a 19. The black pudding continues to strike at you.
Okay. And Gorakul sort of says and says, okay, or have a bit of a temper, okay, and decides to try and sort of like holds out the jar and looks to the others and says, could any of you please try and push the pudding back into its jar? I might need further experience with this.
Pesci looks to his immediate right. What is Scout doing?
Scout is still just rolling on the ground, laughing, belly hurting, laughing at this whole situation.
Pesci just sighs and just says, "This is the height of slapstick," as he arranges a level 1 sleep to hit just the black pudding.
Alright, let's see what this would look like.
He can also move it back a little bit if he needs to in order to just get the black pudding in the way.
I'd say this is good enough right here.
Okay.
I like that she's thought there, move it to the right just a little bit, just to make sure it's in the circle.
Alright.
Yep, it goes sleepy by.
Okay.
And then Pesci says, "Alright, you should know, Garcool, I am the only one allowed to do slapstick humor around here," as he stamps his foot down and his pants drops.
Indeed, you do. Gorakul just sort of like said as he sort of
He
like
pauses in that pose where he's pointing at you with his pants around his ankles.
Gorakul sort of like lets out a sort of chuckle, and as he sort of like scoops the black pudding back into the jar, sort of says, "Well, when we go back to town, I'm going to try and create a sort of habitat for this black pudding." And he sort of closes the
Okay.
lid and tightly seals it.
Okay. Okay.
Scout eventually recovers and gets back onto his feet.
Pesci still is in the pose with his pants down. He's holding this pose for as long as he can.
Scout looks at Pesci and goes, "Hey there, little guy."
Oh. Seeing that he gets no further illicit emotion from Scout, he then huffs and pulls up his pants.
Yep, and Gorakul starts sealing the jar, says, "All right. After we deal with the whole goblin thing, I'm thinking of going to the town and seeing if I can buy some sheets of glass to create a sort of ecosystem for this black pudding."
I too have a friend of mine in town that I need to help.
Ooh, you do? And Gorakul sort of like hears this and sort of turns to Pesci and says, "What exactly does your friend need help with? I hope it's not..."
Well, she hurt herself a while back, and her caretaker is as he kind of cringes a little bit as he said caretaker, is moving on, unfortunately. So I don't want to leave her here with everything that's going on. I don't think that would be very healthy for her.
Gorakul sort of hearing this sort of like nods and says, "Well, if that's the case, we might as well help you with your situation." Funny enough, I thought it was going to be something a bit more humorous, but as some actors are, they are both tragic and comedic.
Yeah, what the hell,
Yes.
Pesci? That story wasn't funny at all.
They all can't be funny. Some of them have to be full of drama and serious.
That's why Gorakul said. That's why Gorakul's said that bards both have to be comedic and sad.
Well, if you want my opinion, you're the best bard I've ever known.
Am I the only bard you've ever known? Pesci just wonders. And then he puts his finger up over your lips as you're about to answer. It says, "No, don't tell me. Let this be a secret between us."
It's not a secret between you if he doesn't tell you.
That's the point.
Oh, yeah, I love it. I love the role play in this
That was
game.
priceless right there.
Yeah. So, yeah. That
With the
is.
sleeping,
Go ahead.
with the sleeping pudding back in his cup,
Correct.
and
Oh, I'm
Pudding
gonna
cup.
need a long rest after a day full of
excitement.
playing out the complete works of human interaction so that Scout here, my good friend, can learn how to deal with other people and show a modicum of emotion. And helping you out with your pet was tiring.
Yes. I think I'm going to need a certain habitat for this case. And Goraku sort of like,
Well, just think of the next fight we get in. You throw that at them, it opens, and it attacks them while we stand back and watch.
That would be amusing.
I imagine it would be.
Yeah. All right. Well, at that moment, Bright Roar and company come, down, and they see you guys, and since they're not here to react, we draw to a close for this session of Dragons of War. I want to thank you guys for playing. I want to thank anyone who's watching. And as always, everyone,
Good
gaming.
game.
All right.